see how it starts. You are live.
I am live. Hello, everybody. If there's anybody. 9 people.
Oh yeah, that looks significantly better. We are doing much better now.
Sweet.
It's looking clean. All right.
Okay.
You can start off by telling us about the spotted climbing toads, or whatever you like.
They are not climbing toads.
Oh,
I know.
What are they?
These are smooth-sided toads. And they're called smooth-sided toads because they are very not warty like a lot of other toads tend to be. They're not bumpy. They're kind of just very smooth all over their body.
Cool.
And they also, this one's actually a bad example of the poke. So is this one. That's a bummer. But they tend to have white spots all over their belly. These ones are dirty because I just took them out of their tank. You can see on the side there's white spots on their belly. And he's sad that he's upside down.
He's sad.
But I have 2 toads, 2 fairly large toads here today. This is a male, this is a female. Let me see if I can manipulate them a bit better. So you can kind of see just in size. This guy's a little bit smaller. There's some overlap between small females and large males. But the way you can tell these guys apart is males typically have really, really beefy forearms, and females have just regular, normal ones. These guys just sit in their tank doing curls, like wrist curls all day. And males will also make noise when you pick them up. Specifically, if you pinch them like this, they'll start like chirping. They're like, "Hey, I'm a boy. Please stop."
Do the females make any noise? Or
the females will not usually release calls. Some toads will, where it's just like, "Hey, I'm not gonna lay eggs. Get off of me." But the males will kind of just. Let's see. There we go. Is that getting picked up? Here. Can you guys hear that? Come on, do it again while I'm not talking. Yeah, that. that was anticipated.
Cool.
So yeah, these guys are a great big toad. They do need a little bit more space because of that. They can jump quite a bit. Typically your toads are able to jump just a couple body lengths, whereas frogs will be able to jump several body lengths. Yeah, you're still mad that I'm holding you. I'm sorry. But I'm warm. I'm warmer than you are, so that should be nice. These guys are from South America, a good chunk of South America. And there's several other species that look very similar to this. But the smooth-sided toads, Ribogutata, are pretty typically looking like this. You get varied amounts of like red spotting on their backs. This one's more orange.
Are they easy to take care of, or are they?
At the size that we sell them, yes. They can be finicky when babies. They come out of the water and they are like maybe 1/4 of an inch long. And so they're eating springtails for the first couple of weeks, and that's a huge pain in the butt if you're not ready for it. Because springtails take a while to get started and to generate enough food to take care of the thousands and thousands of toads that you would end up with if you didn't, or if you decided to keep all of the eggs, which we typically don't. We usually have to take a portion of the egg clutch away and not let it develop just because they lay 10,000 eggs at a time. But these toads are also the toad that Neville Longbottom has from Harry Potter, which is very fun. And we expect to have several hundred coming available later this month. So we're very excited that these guys are finally getting big enough. I have some here that are just about ready.
McJack asks, are they true toads?
They are true toads. They're in the family Bufonidae. So they have big old parotoid glands on their heads, and they will secrete toxin if you squeeze or bite into them. Don't recommend it. because it's stressful for the toad, for that, and the toxin is dangerous. For a bit there, people would joke that these were, or call them heart attack toads, because it can cause hypertension if you were to accidentally ingest the toxin that comes out of them. Nobody had at that point, but because they know what the toxin does, they were able to, we looked it up, and yeah, can cause hypertension in healthy adults and cardiac events in elderly or unhealthy adults.
Interesting.
So if you ever notice any like some stuff coming out of them, it's usually white or yellowish right here, and it'll kind of just be sitting there. The ones in the wild are less tolerant of being picked up, and so there are pictures online where they're just like picked up and they're like absolutely launching this toxin out of their parotid glands, trying to get it on people or the predator that is attacking them. But I can show you what the babies typically look like. These guys are about a month and a half out of the water. And once you see them in my hand, you'll be like, oh, I'm glad that you don't sell them when they come right out of the water, because it would be just the most difficult thing to take care of. You'd probably hardly ever be able to find them. So this one is on the smaller end. He would not be for sale soon. It's kind of sometimes even difficult to hold on to them because they're so delicate, but there you go. This is one that's on the smaller end of the size spectrum after about a month and a half. It's nice and tiny. Needs a...
Jim's Reptile Jungle asks, how often do you feed smooth-sided toads?
These guys are getting fed, I believe, 3 times a week. This one's much bigger, probably. Stop it.
Do the babies and the big ones feed the same amount of time a week?
So adults, we typically feed them twice a week just because they're on a maintenance diet. If they're expected to be bred within like a month or so, we'll up the food just to give them a little bit more nutrients. The females appreciate it because they have to generate all that egg mass. So yeah, this is one that is definitely closer to being in the for sale size range. And you can see just how much bigger it is than that one that I showed you first in comparison. So you have these little guys.
So tiny.
I know. Do you want me to get closer, or did you zoom in?
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
And then is that on the right how big they get completely?
Yeah, so these are adults. These are actually a couple of our breeders. So if we were going to breed smooth-sided toads, it's very likely that we would pull one or both of these guys and throw them into a rain chamber. They need a ton of space when they're breeding. We put them in like a water trough for, I think, horses or cattle that we have kind of repurposed for toad breeding. We have a couple of other big toad species that we've used that for, and it works pretty well. Yeah, this little guy is just about ready. We like them to be just about 3/4 of an inch, like in that 5/8, 3/4 of an inch size range.
How fast do they grow up?
So to get to this size, the size that the adults are, is typically 2 years. It's a fairly slow growing frog species. In general, most frogs are reaching adult mature size with like good feeding regimen within like a year. Some are very, very fast. Some can get to reproductive size at like 6 months. So yeah, these guys are one of the slower ones, but that's pretty typical with the really, really big frogs. You're not seeing just that explosive growth to try to catch up to that 1 year mark. And yeah, this is just a transport tank. You can ignore that it doesn't have any substrate in it. I just needed to move them out of their room that they were in. And toads are much more tolerable of a drier environment. I have some red-eyed tree frogs over there that I'm going to get out soon. And they're in much, much damper moving containers. But yeah, Toads are great because you can pick them up, always with gloves. We have stuff and oils and things on our skin that can be harmful to all amphibians. And so you want to make sure that you're protecting them just as much as you are protecting yourself, because a lot of amphibians also will just have toxins that they naturally have on their skin. Toads are kind of weird in that way, where they concentrate it all by their eyeballs.
Cool.
Yeah. And this is just, I think, around 10 of almost 2,000 that came out of the water. So we're very excited to have them back in stock, because it's been a couple of years, I believe, since we have had them. I have made a mess.
Do we sell the Polypodides megacephalus?
Polypodides?
Yeah.
Megacephalus. I don't believe so. We have Polypodides autolophus, the Borneo-eared frog, but we do not. We haven't branched out in that genus. Other than that, we had some leucomystax at one point, but they were not popular enough to keep around, really. We had them for like almost 2 years before we were able to sell through an entire clutch. So, yeah, if they were a prettier frog, I think they would do better. And speaking of prettier frog, this is one of our adult female red-eyed tree frogs, and now she's gone. She's just absolutely escaped.
You got asked, are you the Josh?
I am not the Josh. I am the Austin. She's already planning her escape. She's going to jump that way. But yeah, this is one of our breeder red-eyed tree frogs. She's a female. Red-eyed tree frogs also have sexual dimorphism, so that she is much longer and also more round than our male red-eyed tree frogs. This is one that is, I believe, a Nicaraguan red-eyed tree frog. And so if you're interested in the locality from where these guys are originating. So yeah, they have very, very nice coloration, nice bright blues, oranges, reds, greens, they've got it all. And we're anticipating having lots of red-eyed tree frogs. I think when I was looking at the numbers for the year so far, we've had almost 200 of these come out of the water. And then I missed. I'm usually better at that. 200 of these coming out of the water, and then we have some Panamanian varieties, and I think we're almost over 300 of those out of the water so far this year. So there will be a steady stream of them, and I have, I think, 5 or 6 egg clutches currently that we're waiting to hatch, because we've started getting them ready to breed again for this entire month. So look for red-eyed tree frogs and restocks on those. I believe there are some available for sale right now.
Are those easy to take care of?
Red-eyed tree frogs are pretty easy to take care of. They are probably just like one step harder than White's tree frog, in that you need to keep up on their misting and humidity a little bit more than a White's tree frog. White's tree frogs are just more forgiving in that aspect. So if you're forgetful, White's tree frogs. If you're really good at remembering to mist a tank every single day, red-eyed tree frogs will be just fine. Or you can get an automatic misting system and you don't have to worry about it. My preference is Mist King, but Exoterra has good misters as well, especially if you're only doing one tank or so. Exoterra is perfect for that because they have like this tiny little misting thing that will run up to like several days in a row, and then you're kind of just topping it off. Oh man, I have run out of gloves.
You know, for the Cocrinella granulosa?
Cocrinella granulosa? No. The only glass frog species that we work with is the Fleischmann's. So Hyalinobatrachium. And this is a 1 month old, yesterday, red-eyed tree frog.
What about the Philomedusa
Savagii?
Yeah.
I do believe we have plans to work with those, but we don't have any now. But yeah, this is a baby red-eyed tree frog. We have Philomedusa, which is now Pithecanthropus hypochondrialis, and Philomedusa bicolor. Those are the two monkey tree frogs that we're currently working with. And we should have tiger legs soon.
When are the smooth-sided toads going to be available?
Smooth-sided toads should be available later this month. So just in the second half. We have a few that are just getting up to size, and we're going to have to start separating those out for in our for sale, and needs a little bit more time to grow. They tend to, just like people and other animals, have different rates of growth, and some are better at eating than others, and they will be eating more than their brothers and sisters. So they grow a little bit faster, and they definitely get to a point where you have a bunch. When we're keeping.
Recommend feeding the red-eyed tree frogs, and how often?
Red-eyed tree frogs, babies, we're feeding 3 times a week, just to allow them to grow at a good, quick pace. Adults, same thing. We usually feed our adults twice a week, unless we're trying to breed them, and then it can be as frequently as every day. If we're feeding them every single day, we're probably going to be feeding them smaller quantities per frog in their tank. So instead of the typical 3 to 4 crickets per frog, it's going to be 1 to 2, just so that they're getting a little bit of nutrients every single day. And the goal there is to get any excess energy put into egg development for the females.
Any Amazon milk frogs?
Yes, we do have Amazon milk frogs. Currently, we have some larger ones, so they're going to be at least 1.25 inches. And then we have some babies that are growing up, and they should be available maybe early September, just as a rough guess.
And now all these guys you showed today can be made with a bioactive terrarium, right?
Yes. Toads are a little bit easier, because usually it's just you chuck substrate into the enclosure, give them some cork tubes or cork flats to hide underneath, and sprinkle leaf litter around. Red-eyed tree frogs, I like setting them up like how you would a dart frog enclosure, but you have more ventilation. So you have your hydroton, bioballs, substrate barrier, ABG, biobedding, whichever you prefer, and then plant all your plants in that layer, live plants, and sphagnum moss on top, and then a layer of leaf litter, and then you're good to go. Yep.
Cool. Well, I think those are all the questions we have for right now.
Excellent. I don't know. What do people want to see things more closely?
We can look at.
So we have our adult red-eyed tree frog. She's probably going to try to go to sleep soon. But I'm being annoying and shifting her around. So. And yeah, this is just a transport cup. She lives in a fully decked out bioactive enclosure. And then our baby red-eyed tree frog. This guy's still got about a month of growth left to get to for sale size. But we've noticed that the Nicaraguan and Costa Rican variety of red-eyed tree frogs will get a little bit bigger. It's probably because as adults they tend to be about 1 inch longer in both male and female.
Cool.
Yeah. And if you're not subscribed, if you're not watching on YouTube, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, I don't know what other socials.
Everything else.
Everything else. What's some really MySpace? Follow us on MySpace. Mark us as your top friend. I might be dating myself. Yeah, Cuddle Buddies, smooth-sided toads. This is our one of our male and female breeders. Nice big toad. You can see them in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I think Neville just kind of gets rid of his toad after that in the movies, at least. So yeah.
Cool.
All right.
You don't have a tarantula at the moment.
Oh no, I am not the tarantula guy. I would not be the person to talk to you about tarantulas either.
All right, then you can sign off.
Alrighty. Again, this has been Austin here at Josh's Frogs with all of our fun tree frogs and toads. Specifically today, we've had our smooth-sided toads and our red-eyed tree frogs. And I apologize for not having all of those species that the one person was talking about.